No, I think the Nationals might have hired somebody last night. I got to double check that.
Last night?
I'm double checking it as we speak, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, source Dave Martinez is the Nationals pick for manager.
Oh, okay. I thought there was.
Yeah, no, that was late last night. That was, or sometime yesterday. That was it wasn't. It's not announced yet,
right?
Because
obviously,
they don't. The MLB doesn't want teams making announcements during the World Series.
Sure.
But that's the word that's being reported is that Davey Martinez is going to be the new manager of the Nationals. Because I was like you, I thought the Nationals would be tailor made for a guy like Joe Girardi. So and Davey Martinez, he as far as I know, and again, this is real quick research I'm doing here live. I don't think he's been a manager anywhere. He's been Joe Maddon's bench coach with Tampa Bay, and then again with Chicago. He brought him with him to the Cubs, but that's going back to 2008. So he's been doing that for 10 years. And he's not an old guy. I mean, this is kind of becoming the trend in baseball. Martinez is 53, but there's a lot of like the two managers in the World Series are both young guys. They're both in their 40s. So that it seems like younger managers are becoming the trend. Well, and I'm not necessarily sure why that is. Probably because they embrace analytics more so than the older managers do.
Because they go by their gut. That's what Joe Torre did all those years. He went by his gut.
And Joe Torre's gut worked.
Yeah,
but so. I think nowadays it seems, and I heard this last night, it seems like front offices are looking for a manager who, it used to be that it was, the lineup was the manager's responsibility. Putting the team together was the GM's responsibility. Well, now it seems like a lot more general managers and front offices want a say in putting a lineup together. And in years past, that would have been a cue for the manager to start screaming a few obscenities at a general manager and tell him stay out of his business because the lineup is my job and whatever else is yours. But now they want to go through analytics and they want to see, well, this guy hits this pitcher better than this other guy, or like if you're going against like Lance McCullers who throws a lot of curveballs, hey, who do we have who hits the curveball better than somebody else? They want those guys in the lineup.
You know how I feel about this.
You hate it.
Yep, I do.
So, but there's a certain merit to it. But that being said, I'm kind of an old school in the manner of to me it's the manager's job, and it shouldn't be a committee job. It's you're a manager. That's a one person job. It's not a 5-person job.
Right, I agree.
And that's why you have bench coaches and other people like that around.
I'll be honest with you. When they started bench coaches, I'm like, what the hell is this? It's the guy to keep the manager company during the game? I mean...
in certain regards, yes.
I mean, I used to see Zimmer talking to Torre all the time. I'm like, does Joe Torre really... I mean, I love Don Zimmer, but does he really need, Don Zimmer next to him talking to him?
Yeah, because sometimes you're so into the game and trying to figure out the game that you're not thinking about other things, or you're not thinking a couple innings ahead, or there were times when Don Zimmer would mention something to Joe Torre where Torre was so dialed into what was going on in the field right in front of him, where he was like, oh, geez, I forgot. Yeah, I should be thinking about that.
Yeah, and I have nothing wrong with that. I just, it's like. That's an interesting position, bench coach,
Oh, yeah. I mean, because it sounds like it should be, it would be more accurately titled manager's drinking buddy.
Well, I like that term better.
Well, but they're not going to, pay somebody $2 million a year to be a manager's drinking buddy.
Yeah, well.
Although Art Fowler back in the day with Billy Martin, that's probably what he was as opposed to pitching coach. It was more like drinking buddy.
Hey, you need a drinking buddy. We're going to take a break right now, brother. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, streaming at the iHeartRadio app. Tim is available at Twitter at where?
At Real Tim Leonard.
Come on, everybody. Let's sing along with Bruce.
Join me, Kim Tracy, for the music of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on Thunder Road, Sundays at 1 p.m. on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC and on the iHeartRadio app.
Answer me. Who taught you to listen to Radio Rumble at 12 p.m. on Saturday afternoons?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I'd buy that for $1.
The Radio Rumble has it all.
Humanity will suffer with me.
Movie reviews.
No kind of Sanders, you're wrong.
Sports talk.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Doug Prish-Preed.
Awesome music.
Excellent!
So listen, Saturday afternoons at 12 p.m. for The Radio Rumble on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
I learned it by watching you.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations, right here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC, the Voice of Nassau Community College. From the press box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm Rob Leonard. Joining me is my co-host and award-winning sports writer and my brother, Tim Leonard. Hello, Timothy. How are you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Now, the Jets played a good game yesterday. They lost, but they played a pretty good game considering. You know, they lost 25-20. They keep playing pretty good. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row now, but they're playing pretty decent considering they weren't supposed to be decent at all.
Well, I don't know where to start with this.
I don't know. They have been playing decent. I mean, you basically said they should have lost the whole season and get a good quarterback as their pick.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, the reason I don't know where to start is because the Jets actually probably should have won yesterday.
I agree.
And their ineptitude just took a win away from them, basically, is what it comes down to. McCown actually played a good game. And the Jets had the lead at halftime against a team that should be vastly superior to them. So, I mean, I don't understand as far as the Jets go, what this team is and where they are, because it makes no sense to me. First of all, the other thing you have to look at is the Falcons have had such a collapse from last season. This was a team that was a dominant offense last year,
right, and
now can barely get out of their own way. As far, I mean, they've scored I'm looking at the standings here: 153 points in 7 games. That's a little more than 20 points a game, and their record is 4-3. Now, that's not who they were last year. Last year they were scoring 30-something points a game and just destroying other teams. You couldn't keep up with the Falcons' offense last year. Now I don't know what's different, and I do know one thing is different is their offense coordinator is different, but whatever they're doing, they need to get back to what they were doing last year, and I don't see any reason why they can't, because Matt Ryan's still the quarterback, Julio Jones is still the receiver. They have much of the same cast that went to the Super Bowl last year, but from what I can see from how they're playing this year, the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to get anywhere near the Super Bowl this season. Now, that being said, the Jets, who are now 3-5 and have now lost 3 in a row, have gotten back to being the tanking team, or the team that needed to tank that we all were expecting them to be this season. But that being said, the Jets at this point are a good deal away from being a top 5 draft pick kind of team, because you have the Cleveland Browns, who are now 0-8. You have the San Francisco 49ers, who also are 0-8. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-5 and not looking at all like a good team. People expected the Buccaneers to be pretty good. The Buccaneers are similar to the Giants this season in that there were expectations, maybe not expectations as high as the Giants, but there were expectations for this team with, Jameis Winston, good young quarterback. You have Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson as 2 very good receivers for him. People expected this team to be able to do something offensively, especially. And the Buccaneers have now lost 4 in a row and are sitting in last place in the NFC South. The Giants obviously well documented at 1-6. And that is going to be, if the Giants don't recover and get back to being what people thought they were supposed to be this season. And I'll be honest, right now, that's a tough thing. Because at 1-6, the players know their season's basically over.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to win 9 games in a row,
no, they're not.
Which is what they would have to do to have a shot at a playoff spot.
Even if they did, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't help them.
Well, I mean, if they by some miracle got to 10-6, more than likely they'd make the playoffs. But you're talking about a team that's 1-6, all of a sudden winning 9 games in a row. It's the likelihood would let's put it this way: the percentage of that of the likelihood, if you had like some stat service do a prediction for you, I'm telling you right now that the percentage would start with a 0.
No,
it would be 0.3 or something like that. I mean, there's no way this is happening.
I'd be there saying that too.
Yeah, but now you're talking about with the Giants that if they do get a top 5 pick, and that certainly looks like the direction they're headed in, well, what do they do with it? Are they going to pick a quarterback and say, all right, you know what, Eli's 36 years old, and we need to start planning for the future, and how many times are we going to get a pick this high and have a shot at some really good quarterbacks who are going to be in this year's draft? They picked Davis Webb last year out of Cal with I believe it was a 3rd round pick. Well, who knows if that guy's the quarterback of the future? You're taking a chance with a guy as a 3rd round pick unless he completely wows you. But if he wows you, then why not play him now?
Well, that's something to think about.
They're not doing that.
Could this be Eli's last season it won't be his last season as a starting quarterback, but the last one where people expected him to be the starting quarterback. Next season he could be, he's going to be our starting quarterback, but we have this new guy who's ready to come in, if Eli.
But that won't happen. If the Giants, whenever it is that the Giants make the decision to move on from Eli, he will be traded. Because 2 reasons. A, teams are desperate for starting quarterbacks. And B, there's no way the Giants would keep Eli's cap hit on the roster if he wasn't starting. Because you can't do it in the NFL. It's tough enough to have a quarterback on your roster who makes $20 million, and there are more and more of them in the NFL. Look at any good to great quarterback in the league, and chances are he's making at least $20 million. That is a tough number to digest on a salary cap. And if you have a guy like that on your roster and he's not your starter and he's not the main guy on your team, then you're completely wasting that amount of money on your salary cap. So the Giants would be able to trade Eli for some kind of draft pick. I'm not even saying a first rounder because I don't know if a team would give up a first rounder for a 36-year-old quarterback. But they would be able to get something for him and more importantly, clear that salary off of their cap, which would be the main reason to trade him.
Right.
But again, is Davis Webb that guy? And I don't think he is. But if the Giants decide after this season that they want to reboot things, and it would be a year or 2 earlier than maybe you wanted in terms of the quarterback position. But you know what? The Indianapolis Colts did the same thing with Eli's brother when they got Andrew Luck, and it was it was Peyton's turn to leave.